Welcome to this masterclass. From stress, anxiety, and depression to a life of purpose and abundance. The three shifts that people just like you are making to get exponential results in their careers, businesses, relationships, and health. This masterclass will take approximately 30 minutes to complete, so make sure you're seated comfortably. My name is Vishal Shah, and I will be the host of this masterclass today. Remember, there is a reason why you're here, and whatever that reason may be, I'm sure it is an important one. So before we dive deeper into this masterclass, let's ask this question. Who is this masterclass for? This training is for you if you want to live a stress-free life, not suffer from anxiety, be free from anger, overcome depression, live a life of purpose and abundance. Something I wanted to share with you here. After bereavement and divorce, work is the third biggest cause of stress. As well as impacting on people's health and well-being, it can also damage social lives and relationships. Something I thought was important at this point to say. My promise to you is I will share with you the three shifts that will show you how you can move from a place of anger, stress, anxiety, or depression to living a life of purpose and abundance. Stay with me until the end, and not only will I share with you how you can get out of the situation you're in now, but I will also share with you a resource that you can download for free that you can use to help your situation right now. First, I want to ask yourself this question. Does this sound like you? Do you find it difficult to stay focused? You don't seem to complete what you set out to complete? You are easily distracted by your vices? Do you get irritated and angry very easily? Does it seem like there is a switch that people seem to turn on and your anger just spills out? Do you barely get a good night's sleep? Do you suffer from insomnia, or do you wake up in the middle of the night and then struggle to go back to sleep? Are you prone to prolonged headaches or migraine? No matter what you do, your headaches just don't seem to go away. Medications are not helping. Do you feel like your mind is constantly occupied and you procrastinate a lot? Is it difficult for you to make choices and it just seems like you're not moving forward? Now ask yourself this. Do you think it is just not possible? A purposeful life, a life of abundance? A lot of people are living a life of a zombie, doing the same thing day in, day out. Living a life of purpose means living a life with passion and vigor. We all have a purpose in life. We just need to figure out what it is. The real problem is, you see, you are too focused on your issues. I am going to share with you the three shifts that people across the world are making to live a life of purpose and abundance. Once you make these three shifts, you will have a good understanding of how the mind works. You will know how to truly take control of your life. And you will know how to get to your image of perfection. But before I carry on, I want to share with you a little bit about myself. Now, I'm the founder of Live with Mindfulness. I've studied at a couple of universities, the University of Birmingham and the Warwick Business School in the UK. And I've worked for many IT companies, global ones that too, Compaq and Logica CMG, for example. But I've always wondered, why am I here? What is my purpose? I found my answer after a transformation I went through between the years of 2012 and 2013. Now, in that transformation, I was completely torn apart. My layers came off and I found my purpose. It was almost like the painful process that a caterpillar goes through to become a butterfly. I was running a business that I had to shut down. My relationships suffered, and so did my health. I was going through a lot of stress and anxiety, which turned to depression and paranoia. But then I found a way to get out of that dark place that I was in, accessing my real self, my image of perfection. And I'm now living a life of purpose and abundance. If someone asks me, what is it that I do now? I empower people just like you by helping you reach your image of perfection, your real self, through shelling your limitations and blockages, resulting in a purposeful and fulfilling life. I went through numerous training courses myself. This photo shows me in training with Bob Proctor, a legendary figure in the figure of personal and self-development, who delivers talks around the world that motivates people to achieve success and prosperity. He was featured in the movie The Secret, if you saw that one. These photographs show my work. It involves having an audience with both private and public organizations. Now back to the 3 shifts. These 3 shifts are shifts that people just like you are making to lead a life of purpose and abundance. No matter where you're starting from or what path you're on, these shifts apply to you. And I'm going to share these with you on this training today. Shift number 1. The conscious mind is just the tip of the iceberg. Sigmund Freud, an Austrian neurologist and founder of psychoanalysis, suggested that we are not entirely aware of what we think, and often act for reasons that have nothing to do with our conscious thoughts. So the question that arises here is, where do these other thoughts come from? The conscious mind contains all the thoughts, memories, feelings, and wishes of which we are aware at any given moment. But the unconscious mind is a reservoir of feelings, thoughts, beliefs, urges, and memories that are outside of our conscious awareness. The concept of the unconscious mind, Freud proposed that awareness existed in layers and there were thoughts occurring below the surface. A great example of how the unconscious mind works is when a man who accidentally uses a former girlfriend's name when referring to a current girlfriend. This slip with the sudden intrusion of the unconscious mind into the conscious mind is often due to unresolved or repressed feelings. In the unconscious mind is programmed a perception of what you are. This is referred to as an inner self-image. The inner self-image that is fixed in your unconscious mind will determine how the rest of the world will see you. It's literally a control mechanism that determines what comes into your life and how well you do. You are the only person in the entire world that has the ability to alter or improve your inner self-image. There is also an image of perfection that is resident in the center of your consciousness, the real you. Stress, anger, anxiety, and depression are simply signals that your inner self-image is moving away from your image of perfection. The more you move in the direction of the image of perfection, the real you, the more your life will improve. There is no end to the good that you can experience as you develop a greater awareness of the perception that does lie within you. What we have established here is that thoughts and emotions outside of your conscious awareness, those that come from your unconscious mind, continue to exert an influence on your behaviors and your experience of the outside world. And in order to change your outside world, you must move your inner self-image towards your image of perfection. Mindfulness and meditation is key in helping you move towards your image of perfection. Now at this point I want to share with you a story of Margaret. When I met Margaret, she could hardly make her name be heard. She was a housewife with little ambitions and very anxious about her future. Her inner self-image was very far away from her image of perfection. She had tried many personal and self-development programs. Margaret left my training as a confident owner of a new business. But before Margaret, she came to me, she went through my training, Margaret didn't think it was worth her time and money. But by doing the initial introductory program, she knew she needed it to move forward in her life. And when she did, she owned her real self and became a confident owner of a new business. Here is a quote by Sigmund Freud, the individual we mentioned earlier. There is a powerful force within us, an unilluminated part of the mind, separate from the conscious mind, that is constantly at work molding our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Now, this is a very relevant quote to this first shift that we have just completed. Shift number 2, making your unconscious conscious. The unconscious mind is the largest and most powerful part of our mind. Now we saw that iceberg. The tip of the iceberg is really small, the conscious mind. The bottom of the iceberg is huge, and that is our unconscious mind. Many of our feelings, desires, and emotions are repressed in our unconscious mind. It has the memory of every event we have ever experienced. It is the storehouse of our emotions, and it is often considered our connection with each other. In order to bring up the dirt at the bottom of the glass, it needs to be shaken and stirred. In a similar way, the unconscious mind needs to be moved to bring up those traumas, experiences, feelings, and emotions that have been stored within us. These then can then be released and let go in a safe manner. Now, at the beginning, I promised you that I will share with you a resource that you can download for free. So bear with me here. This resource has to do with 5 ways to shake the unconscious mind. Number 1 is mindfulness with sound. 2 is mindfulness with focus. 3 is mindfulness with visualization and imagination. 4 is mindfulness with observation. And 5 is mindfulness with breathing. Now, all these mindfulness exercises will help you shake your unconscious mind so that it can bring all those experiences that are stored or have been repressed in your unconscious mind to your conscious mind. And the resource that I'm going to share with you here is a document that contains these mindfulness exercises. You can download it from my homepage of my website, www.livewithmindfulness.com. You may write it down if you want. It's www.livewithmindfulness.com. And here I'd like to share with you a story of Marco. Marco studied aeronautical engineering, but he wasn't very happy in his job. He always had an eye for creative arts. I worked with Marco, and he managed to switch his career. He loves what he's doing now. But before he came onto my training, Marco didn't believe that my training could work for him and had been ignoring his parents who had been asking him to join my training program. See, Marco had some beliefs that he was holding from his past experiences and traumas that were in his unconscious mind that were holding him back from progressing with his career. His parents had been through my program and could see how it could help Marco. Eventually, he did give it a try, and he was able to change his career, and he loves what he's doing right now. So here I'd like to share a quote with you by Carl Jung. He says, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Shift number 3 we come to. Everything is energy, and energy can be transformed. This shift is about transformation. Once you have made the energy in the unconscious mind conscious, you then go about transforming it. And I will show you how exactly this can be done. This is the double slit experiment that was carried out using light in 1801 by Thomas Young. Later, when the experiment was repeated, but with particles, it showed that as particles go through the double slits, they produce an interference pattern instead of a pattern corresponding to the size and shape of the slit. You can see the interference pattern marked by the red border on that slide at the back of the diagram. This experiment demonstrated that matter can display characteristics of both classically defined waves and particles. This means that matter is made up of energy as energy travels in waves, concluding we are all made up of energy. Energy is made up of waves. See, as we saw in the double slit experiment, energy travels in waves. Waves are of different frequencies, low, medium, and high. Keep this in mind for now. Now this is the scale of consciousness. Dr. David Hawkins, in his scale of consciousness, explains that there are primarily 4 levels of consciousness. When you start at the bottom level, where it is red, orange, and turning into yellow, the frequency is at its lowest. And this is where the ego resides. Here, an individual experiences stress, anxiety, anger, depression, etc., and believes that things are done to them, the victim-based attitude. But as you raise your frequency, you move into the second level, and this second level is the linear mind. Here, the individual comes to accept that things are done by them. There's no one to blame. Here you start taking control of your life. And as you move further into the third level, where the spiritual reality resides, here the individual lives with joy and happiness, knowing that things are done through them. You begin to live a life of purpose and fulfillment. And when you get to the top level, where the frequency is at its highest, this is the enlightened state, or the image of perfection, the real you. Here the individual comes to the realization that things are done as themselves. You start manifesting and creating the life you wish to live. Now here is the secret. To move up the scale of consciousness and to your image of perfection, the real you, you need to increase your frequency, as we saw in the previous slide. But to increase your frequency, you need to shell your limitations and blockages. Transform your energy. See, transformation occurs as you let go and release your surfaced energy and replace it with energy through mindfulness and meditation. This raises your vibration and moves you towards your image of perfection, the real you, matching the reality you wish to live in. Now here's a story of Amy that I would like to share with you. Amy was caught up in her stale relationship. Since childhood, she had been compared with her siblings, bringing about the belief of "I'm not good enough." She had carried this trait on as an adult. Amy recognized that at the energetic level, that she was holding this belief of "I'm not good enough." She let it go and also let go of her relationship, eventually finding her purpose. See, Amy's belief of "I'm not good enough" had made her to be stuck in a toxic relationship for many years. Eventually letting that belief go through the energetic process that we went through in our training, she then let go of her toxic relationship and found her purpose. Here is a quote I'd like to share with you, appropriate to this shift that you have just made. What you want is already here, in the unified field of pure potential. Everything you need to fulfill your greatest desire is already part of your being. But it can't come out until you align with it. Let go of the obstructions to it. Let go of the limitations and blockages that are within you, and raise your vibration to the level at which it already exists. This quote is by Derek Radal. So just a recap of where you are now. You find it difficult to stay focused. You get irritated and angry very easily. You barely get a good night's sleep. You are prone to prolonged headaches or migraine. And you feel like your mind is constantly occupied and you seem to procrastinate a lot. Well, today I promised that I will show you how you can get a good understanding of how the mind works. And the shift I showed you that you can make was the conscious mind is just the tip of an iceberg. I also promised that you will know how to truly take control of your life. The shift I showed you that you can make was making your unconscious conscious. I also promised that you will know how to get to your image of perfection, your real self. And the shift I showed you that you can make was everything is energy, and energy can be transformed. To live a life of purpose and abundance, you must understand that the conscious mind is just the tip of the iceberg. You must make the unconscious conscious, and you must transform your energy and access your real self. When you implement these shifts correctly, then your results will change, your life will change, and you will truly become empowered. You will succeed whether it be in your business, career, relationships, or even your health. Here is some feedback from my training. This is from Amy. I completed the 10-week meditation course a few weeks ago. I feel that this course has been valuable as it has given me tools to cope with stressful situations. Vishal has a kind and caring approach in delivering the material, and he's able to cater to individuals' needs. I would highly recommend this course to anyone who is looking for their purpose, and more importantly, if you want to find that inner peace. The one below that is feedback from Marco. Marcus says, Namaste Vishal. So I did a short course with you 1 year ago, and the seed you helped to plant has certainly bloomed. I was attracted to your seminar as it appeared objective, practical, and free of any agenda. Upon attending, I found your presentations to be very professional and inclusive, which made me feel comfortable. It was clear very early on in your sole intentions are to give people the tools to enable us to develop the habit of meditation. And this habit has certainly changed my life for the best. You provided me with a good balance of intellectual and experiential stimuli during your sessions. I keep sharing with others some of the tips you shared with me. You offered a good taste of different techniques in a concise way. I liked this way of teaching as it encouraged me to find what works whilst developing my meditation habits. By your example, I learned that I am responsible for my experience rather than looking outside for improvement of my life experience, peace and harmony. I would like to also share with you a quote from Nikola Tesla. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Just like how we did in our shift 3. So how can I help? I have a 7-day program that is just right for you. We will look at what it is that you are looking to work on. Is it stress, anxiety, anger, or depression? And how we can move towards a life of purpose and abundance. The 7-day program involves 3 by 30-minute calls via Zoom with myself. Zoom is just a platform like Skype where you do conference calling. You get relevant notes and accountability sheets to help implement the learnings. And you also get an additional follow-up 30-minute call with myself via Zoom with the accountability sheet completed. And during the duration of the course, you get unlimited access via email directly with me.